Well, it happened again. Even though I have a topic list of over 100 videos, yes, I said 100, I once again went off the list and made a new video because the topic super intrigued me. In fact, I researched the other topic for over 3 days before I pivoted to mini retirements because I think it offers a unique perspective and can honestly be pretty motivating. It was a fresh idea to learn about, super interesting to think about, and a heck of a lot of fun to put this one together. And in the last couple of months here on the channel, I learned something about myself, and that's if I'm not 100% interested in a topic, I should move on. There's no sense deep diving a topic that doesn't truly excite me or provide a lot of value for you. So this week, I'm taking a break from that original idea. I'm stepping away from the work, and I've explained my why. I've thought long and hard about it. I have a plan for this video. I prepared for this moment, and if you haven't figured it out by now, this whole thing so far is just an analogy for mini retirements. If you find you're unhappy with your work, it is time you do something different to shake it up, and that's what this video is all about. And shaking it up might just be stepping away. And I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of days researching and hearing all kinds of different stories about people that took mini retirements, and I'm really excited to share what I learned. But before I do, I need to say this before we get started, which is that I am not here telling you to quit your job or that you definitely need a mini retirement. I just found this to be really intriguing, and I didn't see a lot of other videos on the topic out there. I just want to show you options and get you thinking more creatively when it comes to you and your financial life, or as I like to say, your life. This is your life, and I'm here to offer you a different idea because you have more control over your life than you might realize. This is just one idea that proves that. So is early retirement, but there's also a situation where you might be able to pursue both. With that said, guys, my name is Frankie. Welcome back to the Money Resolution. This is where we resolve to get good with money, one weekly video at a time. As always, I am hoping to exchange these awesome ideas for your public declaration that you like this video by tapping that thumbs up down below. And of course, subscribe to the Money Resolution if you haven't already, if you want more content like this showing up in your feed, and ring that bell down below to get notified so you don't miss one. To level set, here's what we're gonna cover today, and I'll put it on screen now. What is a mini retirement and what is it not? Who is it for and who is it not for? What does it look like to plan for one? What does it look like during one? And what does it look like when you return from one? I'm gonna cover all that and more, including some pros and cons, some tips, and some miscellaneous ideas, and of course, Frankie's musings at the end. And of course, why does this all matter? What is the big picture? What am I hoping that you ultimately take away from this video? And stick around until the end because I always try to finish with a bang, and this week is no exception. In fact, I have a personal announcement I'm really excited to share with you guys. Well, what could it be, Frankie? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, part one, what is a mini retirement and what is it not? A mini retirement is when you take time away from work for an extended period. It's intentional and requires planning in advance. So it's not going all Jerry Maguire on The Office because you got a really tough assignment and taking the goldfish with you. The term was actually coined by Tim Ferriss in his very popular book, The 4-Hour Work Week, and he called it a series of meaningful respites throughout your life in which you take a break or breaks from your career rather than just one final one at the end. So this isn't saving up a whole bunch of vacation days and sick days and stacking them together. This isn't impulsively just deciding to extend your paternity or maternity time for unpaid leave just to spend more time with your newborn. Now, don't get me wrong, if that's what you want, totally do that. The difference is a mini retirement should be planned, thought through, funded, and well communicated to your loved ones and of course work. And if you check all those boxes and do it in that way, it can be really self-reflective and eye-opening. Maybe even life-changing if I can be so dramatic. For the right person in the right situation, as I learned reading story after story, it can be extremely rewarding and extremely refreshing. But if you already think this idea is dumb and you don't get it and you're not gonna be convinced, that is totally okay. Again, I'm not trying to push this idea onto you, but hopefully this next point will resonate. Time off is good for you. It is necessary. In a 2014 study by Project Time Off, they found that 96% of respondents knew the value and importance of taking time off, but over 40% left time off on the table annually. And this might sound familiar. Maybe you're worried that taking time off is gonna mean that when you return, all the work is gonna pile up and you're gonna have double, or you're gonna look less committed, or you're gonna look replaceable, or you're gonna get passed up for that promotion you feel like you might be in line for. And I can actually attest to this, because at the company I joined just about 2 years ago, I was super excited about this unlimited PTO policy. It's sort of trending here now, especially I would say with some of the bigger tech companies. But I quickly found that people don't generally use this time off. In fact, I felt really awkward the first time I asked for time off 6 months into the job. But back to the study. 25% indicated that their job was their primary source of stress in their life. But here's the kicker. They also found that employees who took time off ended up coming back to work more energized, more refreshed, and more productive, and more happy. And that happiness extended beyond the workplace. Plus, they tended to be more financially secure. This, my friends, could be you. Okay, let's talk about who it's for and potentially who it's not for. As you know, I'm a big proponent here on the channel of seeking early retirement, but the reality is I know that early retirement does have some potential cons and that realistically, it's just not feasible for some people. But for some people, continuing the rat race isn't an option either. This is where mini retirements comes into play, retiring early and sometimes often. Because think about it, traditional advice says we're supposed to work roughly 45 years and retire at age 65 or sometimes later. You're not guaranteed good health at age 65. In fact, and I don't mean to be morbid, we're not even guaranteed to still be here come age 65. But if you're still here at 65, and you will be, you're likely not gonna have the same amount of energy to travel or buy and fix up a car or go sailing or even just run around with your grandkids. At age 45, you could have a family and kids by then and other obligations. And I don't have kids, but I can imagine they definitely throw a wrench in plans. Seeking early retirement at that point might be even more difficult or impossible. So all those big dreams you had in early retirement, what if you could accomplish them in a year from now, 2 years from now? Before you have a family, before your knees creak and you have all kinds of gray hair, before you're dealing with junk mail from AARP, it's potentially for you if you've ever considered spending a year traveling or working part-time abroad. It's for you if you need a battery recharge because you're feeling burnt out at your current job. Honestly, that used to be me when I was a teacher. I left the profession for a new one because I was so burnt out. Maybe I didn't need a new profession. Maybe I just needed time off. Maybe it could be for you if you have an idea for a book or a business and you really just need some time and space to work this out creatively so that you can produce these ideas and bring them to life. And honestly, maybe this could be for you if you're just going through a really tough time in life. A death in the family, a divorce, and I'm gonna stop there and get back to some positive stuff. It might be for you if, again, you have a baby on the way, you have money set aside, and this has been the plan all along, is to have some extended time off. It could be you if you're just in a funk and you need to just shake it up to get out of this funk. It is time for reset, refresh, and to figure out your next move. It's not a solution to all your problems, and it could set you back more if you don't do it right. So let's talk about how to plan for it, what it looks like during it, and how to plan to reintegrate into a 9-to-5 or an otherwise normal life. Oh, but quickly, who is it not for? It's not for people who have a poor work ethic or are just looking for an escape. It's not for you if you're not willing to plan. You cannot go into a mini retirement without a plan. So let's talk plans. So how do you plan for one? And I'm gonna breeze through this section kind of quickly because math. I don't wanna lose your attention, but while I have it, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Money Resolution if you haven't already and you're getting some value out of this. Step one is to plan and set a budget. Know your current expenses and think about what those expenses, project out what they could be during this mini retirement, especially if you're planning to travel abroad during it. The last thing you want to do is go into debt over this or be totally unprepared financially. And while the math might be relatively easy for you to figure out, it's not going to be easy to achieve that savings ahead of time. Of course, it's going to take some hard work, maybe even a year or two of hard work and aggressive savings. That's okay. Enjoy that part, knowing that there's finally some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, or at least halfway through it. Step two, and this part might be optional, but that's to try to set up a stream of passive income or streams, plural, of passive income. Try to set yourself up to earn money outside of traditional 9-to-5 work, one that doesn't require trading your time directly for money. This could be investing in real estate, investing in the market, writing an ebook, making online courses, starting a YouTube channel, or otherwise selling an online digital product. This could help you fund or possibly extend your mini retirement. And at the very least, it's going to keep you on track for retirement, potentially even early retirement. Hint, some people work on creating passive income streams during their mini retirement. Step 3 is to communicate with work. And no, not the moment you're ready to take your mini retirement. You may want to mention it as soon as a year before you plan to take it, then check back in 6 months later and start to make some final decisions with them 2 to 3 months before this retirement. I would start by trying to negotiate, some length of time of unpaid leave, or maybe even taking a sabbatical if that's an option. Extended time off as a sabbatical is pretty common in academia, but it's actually becoming a little bit more common in the corporate world. If that works out, awesome. If not, well, you're gonna have some thinking to do if you know you're not gonna be coming back to a job. And step 4 is to remember your financial responsibilities. I already alluded to this a moment ago when I talked about passive income. Plan to stay on track for your long-term goals. This could be retirement. This could be increasing your savings rate and investing that money. This could be saving for a child's education or fully funding an emergency fund. An emergency fund, by the way, that you're not going to touch, ideally, during your mini retirement. Next, we're going to talk about what to do during your mini retirement. And this one is obviously tough because everybody's path is different. Everybody's motivations are different. With that said though, here's a list I'm gonna provide after reading all kinds of stories of different things that people did during their mini retirements. The first is to live abroad or study abroad and try to learn a new language while you're doing that. You could learn a new skill or hobby, obviously, something like maybe getting certified in scuba diving, very specific, but that's one I came across. Volunteer, read for fun or pleasure, read for learning, start a blog or vlog or YouTube channel, learn to cook, buy a fixer-upper and attempt to renovate it, try to map out or create digital products to create passive income, like I already mentioned, or just try to plan out an actual business you want to start when you return. If you're traveling, one thing I heard over and over again is that traveling without purpose gets boring fast. Routine, of course, is good, but pursuing a passion or a hobby or an interest is obviously going to be more fun and more fulfilling. But of course, you don't have to have everything figured out. And I came across a really cool quote I'm going to share here from the blog Coach Carson. I'll link it down below. And he wrote, "You may find that the most valuable part of your mini retirement is the realization that you are your true security. You have strength and resiliency in reserve that you never knew you had. And you must move out of your comfort zone in order to claim it." That's powerful stuff, guys. You don't have to have everything figured out to still make this extremely rewarding and learn a lot about yourself, especially if this is your first mini retirement. Okay, but what about after? What about when you return to the real world? What should you expect? Well, like we already talked about, there is a chance that job could be waiting for you and that'd be great. But for most people, this isn't realistic. So it's extremely important that you do have some cash set aside to help support you during the month or two it might take you to land back on your feet with a job. That's cash on hand, not taking out money from your investments where it could be losing money or you might accidentally trigger some taxable events. And at first you might want to just consider consulting or freelancing or taking on side gigs just to get back into the rhythm and swing of things. Or again, if you're lucky and you learn a bunch of new skills, take those skills and consider starting your own business. It could even be an online business. Either way, once again, have a plan and consistently strive towards fulfilling it so that 6 months or 1 year off of work doesn't turn into delay in retirement 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or potentially more. Never put your long-term success at risk here. If you do, you're doing it wrong. And some people might be scared of pursuing a mini retirement simply because they're worried about explaining that gap in their resume. But fear not, this is actually more common than you might think. Think of people that travel for an extended period of time just for fun or pleasure, people that have a kid or start a family, or again, people that pursued a business and maybe it just didn't work out. It's not necessarily going to prevent you from landing a job interview. In fact, if you do get that job interview, you're going to have some really awesome stories to tell during it. It might even make you look more ambitious or creative or unique and interesting. So what's the bottom line? Let's first talk about some pros and cons quickly. The first pro is that mini retirements might offer the best of both worlds. You can achieve a short-term goal by saving and planning, and you have the freedom of choice far before traditional retirement. You get away from your traditional 9 to 5 and this routine that doesn't allow you to stop, look around, and reflect, or just think about what it is that you really want out of life. You might learn who you really are, how to follow your instincts, how to go against the grain. You might even discover work that's more fun, whether it provides a paycheck or not. It can certainly be eye-opening and inspiring, but honestly, even just creating this pro list is super difficult because it can look so different for so many people. But let's talk about some cons. And I'll be frank here. Get it? I'm frank, whatever. If you don't have a plan and you don't execute this correctly, like I mentioned before, this could really set you back financially for the long term and potentially delay ultimate retirement. And it could delay your career progression. I can imagine it's very hard to leave a job when you think you're next in line to get promoted. And of course, traveling abroad, if that's what you decide to pursue, this could just cause new different anxiety, living somewhere you've never lived before, potentially having extreme homesickness. Or you might realize at the end of the day, you are simply running away from something rather than running towards something, like finding a hobby, finding a passion, or fulfilling a dream. However, again, going back to that earlier study, most reported feeling more refreshed, more energized, and more productive after they returned. And that was just simple time off. Imagine a year or a mini retirement. And maybe you're thinking, well, I can't do that and retire early. That's not necessarily true. These can work hand in hand with a lot of thoughtful planning and careful consideration. And the truth is, maybe having a plan was all you needed. Okay, with that said, guys, I'm gonna include a quick tip or two here. One of them is to just take a week off as just sort of a mini retirement and see if this helps you, again, feel re-energized and refreshed. Definitely step totally away from work. And I want to add to this by saying, if you do decide to do this and stack some time off together with no plan to take a vacation or anything else just for you, I would stay off of social media during that time. Eliminate distractions and really spend some time thinking, reading, reflecting, and trying some new things. Guys, I hesitated to make this video because I don't want to encourage anybody to go out there and quit their job, especially without a plan. The purpose of this video is to expand your thinking, maybe provide some hope or a short-term goal that'll actually motivate you to get serious about saving and investing and eventually help you find your passion. The thing that excites you, the thing that's in your core. And that's something I talked about in my last video on the channel, which I totally recommend you check out next. I compared financial independence to financial freedom, and I think my definition of financial freedom might surprise you. All right, I mentioned I have an announcement if you stuck around until the end, and I do, and it's something I'm really excited about. And no, I am not taking a mini retirement or quitting my job. It's something I made for you. It's actually a pretty big project I've been working on, and it's almost available now. You can go to themoneyresolution.com and sign up to be notified about my first online course. I'm gonna teach you how to save your first or next $10,000 using my 7-step strategy that I employed back in 2018 when I set my money resolution. Because I found in my journey with money that saving my first $10,000 was a life-changing moment. It was the thing that propelled everything else after it. So again, I wanna show you how I did it from scratch so that you can do it twice as fast. I didn't plan that, I didn't mean to rhyme. Go to themoneyresolution.com, sign up to be notified when doors are open, and as a little bonus, down pinned in the comments below, I'm gonna put a promo code. That promo code is gonna get you half off the course when it becomes available, but that is a limited time offer. So definitely take advantage of that. And guys, I genuinely believe in this. I spent a lot of time on this, and if you've enjoyed the channel over the years or you've gotten some free value out of this, this is an awesome way to support me and the channel so that I can continue to do this. And it's a great way to invest in yourself in 2021. Because 2020 sucked. Let's make next year better. Let's do it together. That's it, guys. Thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for watching the video as always. It's really awesome that you're showing an interest in personal finance, and I just have a lot of fun sharing different perspectives here on the channel. You're gonna get a lot of early retirement. Sometimes you're gonna get some unique ideas like this one. I don't expect you, again, to take action right away after watching this video, but I really do hope that something in this video stood out to you. Let me know what you think about this whole concept of mini retirement down in the comments below. I do try to reply to everyone. Like this video if you liked this video. Subscribe to The Money Resolution if you have not to see more videos like this one. It would really mean a lot to me. Thanks as always for tuning in. Thank you for getting to the end of the video, and I will see you guys as always next week on the next one. Thanks. What could it be, Frankie? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Whatever. And now I think it's time I retire from this video for the night. I'll see my way out.